The Spanish Golden Age of theater lasted from 1580 to the 1700s. This time period was also known as the Spanish Renaissance, given that it was under Muslim rule up until 1492 at the Battle of Granada. This being said, Spain was unified in 1469 through the marriage of Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile. With the unification of Spain came the overhaul of Muslim traditions by Christianity. This Christian overhaul brought many new aspects to Spanish culture, especially in the arts. This brings us to the first of three major genres in Spanish theater during the Golden Age. Religious dramas, or autos sacramentales, were dramas that celebrated the mystery of the Eucharist by mixing the human, supernatural, and allegorical. These productions usually took place on 2 or 4 carros, or two-story wagons, in parades that went throughout the city of Madrid and other cities such as Corpus Christi. These performances in particular were performed by trade guilds or professional acting troupes, and in these performances there was usually a mixture of civic and religious authority. The next of the major dramas was public theater, otherwise known as the chorales. These were productions that took place in a professional public theater. A new aspect to the public theater was the alojerias, or refreshment booths that were above the galleries for more spectators. These galleries consisted of cazuelas, which were reserved especially for women, and aposentos, which were the box seats. The audience of the chorales were often lively and unruly. This being said, chorales were usually performed to support hospitals and aid the poor. Another societal change that came from the chorales was the fact that women were licensed to perform in theaters. This practice was controversial up until 1599, when a royal decree stated that women that were married to company members could perform on stage. This came with stipulations, however, such that cross-dressing was not allowed, and if a woman were to be disguised as a man, male clothing would happen above the waist and a skirt would happen from there on. Lastly, we have theater at court. These performances were held in a royal palace, usually in the courtyard. The most notable theater at court production came from Cosimo Lati. In 1635, Cosimo and his team engineered a special stage above lake waters with a silver chariot drawn across the surface by 2 large fish and a mountain that was transformed into a palace, in the play Love is the Greatest Enchantment. With each genre came a particular style of design for the stage. While the costumes of this era were still similar to the Elizabethan era costumes, performers of autos sacramentales had to wear silk or velvet, and women were forbidden to wear strange headdresses on stage. This being said, one crucial design that came out of the Spanish Golden Age of theater was the use of the facade. A facade is a scenic background which was painted and usually concealed by the curtains. After 1650, it was common to see painted flats with doors and windows which were set in place of the facade. Towards the end of the Spanish Golden Era of theater, awnings were rigged over the seatings, and eventually the addition of permanent roofs made it an indoor theater. This signifies the birth of the chorales, or the public theater. Another key element of design during this era was the use of machines that simulated wind and the sound of thunder, usually using metal sheets or rain sticks. Musicians were also commonly used to create certain moods and important sound effects. All in all, the Spanish Golden Age of theater was a time of renaissance in Spain. It signified a rebirth in Spain and a new, full immersion into the arts.